I'm making this plea to everybody that tunes in. There is a fundraising goal, at least for this show, that we need to reach. And I know I got to do more of it throughout the course of the weekend. So if y'all can help with a donation to the Cash App at Tallman Dr. K50 or host Cole Johnson, it will be appreciated. I really would appreciate it because all this disabled broadcaster is trying to do is live out his dream and help his family. Let's go.
On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have never left California.
This Bronx will upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no. Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah!
Hold it. Hold on a minute. That's what I don't like about this.
All right, we'll figure it out. Good morning. Welcome to the fabulous, fantastic football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. Let me begin by saying this. Thank you all for joining me. We got a lot to get to. Of course, we got Chris Bass at the bottom of hour 2. Had some plans for earlier, but that got usurped by a very important set of doctor's appointments that I had this morning. But we got those taken care of. I am here, and I'll make this plea. I did it before we started. I'll make it now. There's a $150 goal that we are trying to reach, and I've decided we're going to make it a point with each program, be it play-by-play or Snowman in the Morning or the Brian Snow Show, to reach that goal, because mine is to help my family. Mine is also to help raise money for cancer awareness, and being a part of the cancer community after having fought the fight, won the fight. I know there's some people that can draw some inspiration from this. So I beg of y'all, help us reach our goal every day, because it goes toward, like I said, it goes towards my family, goes toward the Snowman Stadium tour, and a chunk of that will go towards cancer research. And I'm also working on being a motivational speaker. I'm training myself, because I had an effect on a little 8-year-old girl named Addison. And I told her what my dad simply told me: don't be afraid to chase your dreams and don't let anyone stop you. Here we go with a whip around presented by Fanatics. More later. The Warriors have postponed another game against the Mavericks after assistant coach Dejan Milojević's death. Rest in peace, coach. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. I had it. I lost it. Now we got it. New Patriots coach Jerod Mayo is right. If you don't see color, you don't see racism. Seems pretty simple to me. David Shaw, former Stanford coach, has been interviewed by the San Diego Chargers for their head coaching vacancy. I hope he gets it. I think he'll be the one that can really put them back on the right path and turn this thing around. Part of the bankruptcy deal with Diamond Sports involves an investment from Amazon. Oh, dear. Well, some schools are set to pay at least $200 million in buyouts to hire and fire college football coaches. Yikes. Just plain yikes. Mark Andrews, all-pro tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. There are some rumors flying around that he may play this weekend. John Harbaugh says it's up in the air. If he plays this weekend, then I hate to say this, but the Texans have no chance. Well, they have a chance already because they got this far. They will have a chance. But Mark Andrews lends a lot to that Baltimore offense. All right, there's your whip around presented by Fanatic. Hey, Cowboy fans, he's back, and nobody knows the key question, why. We'll discuss when y'all get back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze claw.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Peckham's. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
This portion of the show is presented by SeatGeek. If you're looking for the best way to experience live events with just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more through the power of SeatGeek. Download the app right now. Use the code Snowman Multimedia, and you'll get $20 off of your first purchase. That is only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Speaking of fans, I feel sorry. No, change that. I don't feel sorry for Cowboy fans. Why, you ask? They're asking for it. Again. Apparently, Mike McCarthy is returning to coach the Cowboys next season. Where do I begin with this one? No.
She.
No, not that one. No.
Stop it. Get some help.
No, not that one.
I'm getting too old for this.
Okay. We got potential, but
Stop the cap.
I know. A selection from the Wonder Bread Choir entitled "We Love Mediocrity." After what happened against the 7th-seeded Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys decide not to pull the trigger? They decide not to pull the trigger on firing the entire coaching staff, especially Mike McCarthy. You fool! You fool! One more time. You fool! I mean, really? Really? I have no words for this. I have absolutely no words for this. You're actually going to depend on Mike McCarthy. Mike freaking McCarthy. Mike McCarthy. You idiot. You fool! Even better. Every rational Cowboy fan is singing this tune. Every Cowboy alumnus from their last dynasty is singing this tune. And I agree with Wise. Bleep Dallas. Did they listen? Bishop Bullwinkle? Did they make the right decision in bringing back Coach McCarthy?
Hell no. To the no. Yeah, to the no. Yeah, to the no. To the no.
Let me pose that question again. Bishop Bullwinkle, sir, kind sir, let me use Cole's words. Did Jerod make the right decision in bringing back Mike McCarthy again?
Hell no. To the no. Yeah, to the no. Yeah, to the no. To the no.
Every Cowboy fan I know, the rational thinking ones that actually call their team out when they're making stupid mistakes, like, I don't know, starting Dak Prescott. Oh, did I say that aloud? Are saying,
oh, hell no.
And
ain't nobody got time for that.
And
bruh.
Really? The evidence is right in front of you, okay? All right, I'm going to say some things that are going to make some fans angry at me, but I don't particularly care, especially with the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy got lucky when he was the coach of the Green Bay Packers in winning that Super Bowl title. And now you want to translate that luck you want to translate and bring that luck to Dallas? What?
Stop the cap.
Why the you lying?
Got me up.
Steven?
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous. How dare you? How dare you say such a thing?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong in that? Am I wrong in thinking that? Point Fire out of Toronto. Thank you for enabling the caffeine nasal floss. You're welcome. Big Teddy Bear out of Seattle saying, Jerry Jones, stay off the weed. Seriously, Larry, as a Vikings fan, I understand to a team not knowing how to tank properly. Yeah. Happened in San Francisco. If I can be honest, it happened in San Francisco when Jed York took over. Then Jed York finally got some sense and stepped away from football operations. Gerald will not do that. And hence why Mike McCarthy is back as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Seriously, Larry, I'm a diehard Vikings, Cardinals, and Dolphins fan. Double and triple my pain, please. I don't know which of them irritate my soul the worst. Probably the Vikings. RC, I'll answer that question for you. Not the Vikings, the Dolphins. Why? Their offense doesn't have an off switch. But this is about the dumbest decision that the Cowboys ever did, and I'm going to have to adjust my chair here in a moment. The dumbest thing, the absolute dumbest thing. Matter of fact, hold on a minute. Let me make this adjustment right now. Oop, wait. I can't stop bouncing. Let me say this aloud. The dumbest thing the Cowboys have ever done in recent history was fire Jimmy Johnson. Oh, by the way, that's coming off back-to-back Super Bowls. That's coming off back-to-back Super Bowls. Should have been back-to-back-to-back, but Gerald couldn't keep. I'm not going to cuss. I will not cuss. I will not. Hold on a minute. I will not cuss. 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 There we go. Okay. That's all done. The stupidest thing the Cowboys ever done was fire Jimmy Johnson. The absolute stupidest thing they've ever done was fire Jimmy Johnson. Ride the Aces and Hawkeyes guy in the chat. Sirianni and McCarthy must be relieved of their duties now. Okay, and both organizations screwed up by bringing their coaches back. And I'll say this, Sirianni got lucky. Mike McCarthy got extremely lucky. Point Fire says, nice to see the gleam back in your eyes. You will win your battle, sir. Thank you, Point Fire. And much love to you and the city of Toronto and the, yes, I'm saying it right, Sky Dome. Mike McCarthy should never coach in the NFL again. Ever. Ever. And a lot of people are going to look at me and go, why? Why do you think that? Have you seen what he's done to the Cowboys? The next stupidest thing, besides bringing Mike McCarthy back, the next stupidest thing that they've ever done was let Kellen Moore walk. Piggyback off of that, letting Mike McCarthy call the plays. Let me say that again for those of y'all in the cheap seats. Okay? Let me say that for those of y'all in the cheap seats. The stupidest thing that the Cowboys ever did was fire Jimmy Johnson. The absolute stupidest thing they've ever done was fire Jimmy Johnson. Okay? The next stupidest thing was bring back Mike McCarthy. But the one that hurts that's going to hurt them the most, the one that's going to hurt them the most, was letting Kellen Moore walk. Letting Kellen Moore walk, and couple that with letting Mike McCarthy, of all people, call the plays. Mike freaking McCarthy. Anybody remember what happened at the end of the divisional playoffs last year? I mean, forget what happened against Green Bay. That was a beatdown waiting to happen. And people think I'm nuts when I say they were due for a beatdown. Matter of fact, I'll say it honestly, they were overdue for a beatdown. The Cowboys have been incredibly lucky since they came to Levi's Stadium and got blown to smithereens by my beloved San Francisco 49ers. What? Every coach has a legacy, good or bad, okay? Tim Floyd with the Bulls. Hello. There's your legacy right there. Period. You want to know what the legacy of Mike McCarthy is as the Cowboys coach? It's this.
The ball. Final play looks like barring a penalty. Prescott over the middle of the turf gets smoked right away, and that'll do it. The 49ers back to the championship game.
There is Mike McCarthy's legacy in Dallas. RC, the Aces and Hawkeyes guy. Once Green Bay went up by 14, I turned the channel. I knew it was over. I knew it was over when they took the... I made this comparison, and I'll make it again. In 2010, i.e. January 2011, the Green Bay Packers played the Bears at Soldier Field for the NFC Championship with a hobbled Aaron Rodgers. A very hobbled Aaron Rodgers. You would think that Bears defense would be chomping at the bit to get after Aaron Rodgers. You know what Aaron Rodgers did? Marched their butts right down the field in 7 plays and stuck it in the end zone. My thought, bruh. And oh hell no! And you know what Aaron? And you know what else? You know what Aaron Rodgers did with all that? For 60 minutes. For 60 minutes. The Bears have never been the same since. And I'm sorry. They're going to ruin Justin. They've already ruined Justin Fields. Here I go off on a side note again. Here I go off on a side note again. They ruined Justin Fields, and they're going to ruin Caleb Williams. Sorry. I prefer to speak ye the truth and shame the devil. The devil's a doggone liar. You think the Cowboys would know that by now. And the next stupidest thing they ever did was they let Ezekiel Elliott walk. They let the best running back they've had since Emmitt Smith beak at Tony Dorsett walk. I said, bye-bye, we don't need you. Jerry made 2 mistakes in that situation. He paid Ezekiel Elliott, and he didn't get on the coaches to tell them to get on Ezekiel Elliott. Stupid. This whole Cowboy organization is as stupid as the Bears organization, and I'm not ashamed nor afraid to say that. I am not ashamed nor afraid to say that. They built that $1 billion shrine to Jerod. And what has Jerod done since that shrine has been built? He's been lucky, he's gotten ref help, and he's done nothing. You understand me? Let me say that again. What have the Cowboys done since they blew up Texas Stadium and moved into that $1 billion shrine, man? I'll answer that question for you. Nothing. Nothing. Now the better question is, do you expect Mike McCarthy to do anything? Mike freaking McCarthy. I am a fan of a YouTube channel, and I want y'all to check him out. Jaguar Gator 9. Okay. He has this series called Dumb Decisions. You know how many times Mike McCarthy's been featured in that series? 6 times. 6 times. And the way he set up the play I'm about to repeat for you was so great. He talked about time management and clock management. And then his producer got in his ear and told him, look at this.
The ball.
Final play, it looks like barring a penalty. Prescott over the middle of the turf, gets smoked right away, and that'll do it. The 49ers back to the championship game.
Listen, RC, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this next segment. I want a free-for-all with the fans in the chat. Okay? Seriously, Larry, I love Jaguar Gator 9. I am a member of his channel. And I'm proud to be a member of his channel, which I may start doing, selling memberships to my channel now that I'm over 1,000 subscribers. But that's later. Man, listen. Stupid fools. I'm never going to be done ripping on Mike McCarthy. I'm never going to be done ripping on the Cowboys, because all these Cowboy fans know is selling tickets, charging into the stadium. Oh, by the way, I also got this courtesy of Cole Johnson.
Hey, ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved? Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still involved? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still involved. Woo, shut up, my boy. I'm still involved. Oh, I'm still them boys. I'm still them boys.
Oh, God. Victor!
We gotta pause that.
Oh, not that button. This one.
Delete.
Oh, jeez. As long as Jerry Jones is in charge of the Cowboys, and as long as Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Cowboys, they will never get anywhere. They won't do anything, and they'll never draft the right people that they need, i.e. an offensive line and a defensive line, to make them be competitive ever again. Ever. Pause for a break. When you all get back, I will answer once again the question that everyone has posed to me. Should Justin Fields be QB1 of the Chicago Bears? Bishop Bullwinkle, warm up the pipes. Back in a flash.
Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries.
Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back. This portion of Snowman in the Morning is brought to you by Fanatics. If you're looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride, look no further than Fanatics. Go to snowmaninthemorning.com/fanatics. Choose your gear, support your team, and support your fan. And you can gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Chris Bates will come along, and during hour 2, we'll have our divisional round playoff previews. David 3000 is in the house with us. Sick Diggy's in the house with us. Who else is here? Seriously, Larry is here. My buddy Josh Lopez, the Hoots podcast. And y'all need to check out if you love wrestling. Okay, and Josh, I've been meaning to do this for you, buddy. I just haven't had the opportunity. If you love wrestling and you want to hear the truth about wrestling and all the storylines within, you need to check out the Hoots podcast on YouTube. That's my brother Josh Lopez. He and I have been, I think he and I have been friends for 11 years now. And I remember when I took him under my wing and he just looked at me and said, "Show me the ropes." Well, Josh, I hope I done you proud. I hope I have done you proud. Okay, time for the Fanatics free-for-all. The Fanatics fan free-for-all. I have a question about a few quarterbacks in the league. Speaking of we'll get to our divisional round features quarterbacks that actually play the position correctly. More on that at the top of the second hour. You have quarterbacks in the league like Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa. Real Wise TV in the house with us. My brother, good morning to you, Wise. I hope you're okay with the weather that we're getting here because we're getting dump trucked here in Indiana. I hope you all, wherever you got bad weather, I hope you all are okay. So once again, Pennywise will be on the sidelines. Victor Locke has joined us, my longtime engineer and one of my best friends. Yes, unfortunately, he will be. Okay. To the subject in hand for this free-for-all. Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. Oh, heck, you can throw Desmond Ridder in the equation. You know? You can throw Deshaun Watson in the equation. Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa. Whoever the quarterback is going to be for the Redskins. But I want to focus on Justin Fields because I've had people actually yell at me and ask me, "Look, why don't you like Justin Fields? Don't you see what he can do?" And Victor's going to choke me for this, but I'd rather speak ye the truth and shame the devil. I have seen Justin Fields play. I've seen him play at Ohio State. Seen him play with the Bears. And in 3 words, I'm not impressed. He's got a great arm. Don't get it twisted. He's got great footwork. Don't get it twisted. but that's all he has. Where's the moxie? Where's the nerve? Where is the heart of Justin Fields? The Bears have never had a quarterback. No. Change that. Change my. Let me change my sentence right now, and I'm going to pull Justin Fields out of the equation because he still has a lot to prove, and I will grant that. So I will retract what I just said about Justin Fields. When have the Bears ever had a franchise quarterback? Ever? The answer to that would be never. The Chicago Bears have never, all right, listen to me carefully. They never have had a franchise quarterback. And with the rumor floating around that Cliff Kingsbury, good God, is competing to be the offensive coordinator, it's only going to get worse. Okay? I know you need an offensive coordinator. Dig that. Let me pose a question. You want to know why the Bears have never had a franchise quarterback? You want to know why Jim McMahon kept getting beat to all get out? You want to know why Steve Fuller, Jim Harbaugh, Eric Kramer, and others before he kept getting beat up? You want to know why Mitch Trubisky, who was supposed to be the first ever franchise quarterback the Bears had, never rose to that status? And I will put Justin Fields in this equation also. It's because they had no protection. The closest quarterback that had an offensive line in front of him was Jim McMahon. And that's it. And he was injury prone coming out of BYU. He was injury prone coming out of BYU, and yet was one of the three best quarterbacks the Bears have ever had in my 40 years of watching football. 3. Okay? Let me say it again. 3. Those three quarterbacks are Jim McMahon, Eric Kramer, and Mitch Trubisky. There's still a lot to prove for Justin Fields. There's still a lot to prove, and I'm looking in this camera right now, retracting whatever I said about Justin Fields, and I'm saying this aloud. There is still a lot to prove for Justin Fields. A lot, okay? Dig it. Put a line in front of him, will you please? Or send him to a team that actually has the gall, the balls, the nuts, and the nerve to put a line in front of him. Why do you think Desmond Ritter's gotten beat up? No line. I would put Kyler Murray in this situation, but he put himself in that situation. Okay? He begged to get paid. He got paid, and he still played like booty. Thank you, Chris Bass. The Bears haven't had an offensive line, a competent. Oops. Hold on a minute. Nearly spilled my water. The Chicago Bears have not had a competent offensive line since 1989. And that was the tail end of Jim Covert, Mark Bortz, Jay Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, and Keith Van Horn. They were together for 10 years. What have they had since then in terms of an offensive line? Not a dadgum thing. Here's a fact for you. Do you know the Bears are the only team to not house a 4,000-yard quarterback? The Bears are the only team in the NFL, and I want y'all to confirm this because I had this said to me. The Bears are the only team to never have a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in the season. Ever. And I want to say the closest was Eric Kramer, 1995. I think I'm wrong with that. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong with that, but the closest I remember, it's either Jim Harbaugh or Eric Kramer who came the very closest to throwing for 4,000 yards for the Bears. Now, let me ask you this. Would you really want to trust the Bears, or would you really like to trust the Bears? You would like to trust the Bears organization to know that they need an offensive line to protect Justin Fields or whomever their quarterback is going to be, in which in this case, it's probably going to be Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams ain't ready. I said it. There's a podcast on YouTube called I Said What I Said, and they said no one has the opinions that we do. Want to bet? I challenge that. Playfully, but I challenge that. 3,838 yards during the 95 season for Eric Kramer. Thank you, Ryan. Is that the Bears record? See, this is what I do. I ask fans questions. They do real-time research. And, of course, our real-time research is brought to you by BetUS.com. Got to sneak in the sponsors somewhere. And I love doing it. Want to sponsor the show? Drop me an email, snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com. I think Eric Kramer has the Bears record for most in a season, 3,838. And the year was 1995. That is the Bears' all-time single-season record. Thank you, Ryan. And I knew it was either Jim Harbaugh or Eric Kramer because they turned Eric Kramer loose. Backup question for Mr. McCarthy. Does Kramer have a 4,000-yard season under his belt? So the Bears are going to go from ruining one quarterback that had potential in Justin Fields because they put no line in front of him to ruining another and possibly costing him his career because they put no offensive line in front of him in Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is not ready for the NFL. Caleb Williams is not ready for that smoke. Caleb Williams is a spoiled brat who just happens to be blessed with a lot of talent to play quarterback. Here's the problem. Caleb Williams is all about himself. I don't care if it's falsehoods or troll accounts or whatever. I know folks like Caleb Williams want the world thrown at his feet and he ain't willing to work for it. I'll tell you all the brew I have a little later. Let me say it again. Caleb Williams wants the world at his feet and is not willing to work for it. Sound familiar, Arizona Cardinals? Sound familiar, Chicago Bear fans? Sound familiar? It should. It should. The reason Justin Fields will never be a great quarterback for the Chicago Bears is because the Bears are too chicken you-know-what to put an offensive line in front of him. Oh, by the way, couple it with a few weapons outside of DJ Moore. Ryan McCarthy, the 95 season was the best in his 13-year career. Next best was 3,011 yards in 1997. And Real Wise backs him up by saying Cutler holds the other 4 spots. Thank you, gentlemen. But Caleb Williams sucks as a quarterback. I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm talking Chicago Bears potential for quarterbacks, okay? Justin Fields needs to go to a team that will be competent enough to put a line in front of him. Shall I say that again? Gladly. Justin Fields needs to go to a team that ain't Carolina, that is competent, that ain't Atlanta, that is competent enough to put a line in front of him. I'm willing to hold out complete judgment. But at the same time, Victor said this to me when we had a conversation. Justin Fields, you've had 3 years. Now, part of it is the Bears' fault. No, big part of it is the Bears' fault. Why does Caleb Williams suck? I don't like his style of play. No, change my sentence. His skills are good. I don't believe he can put a full game together. Now, I know there's a lot behind that, and I know there's a lot for him to prove, and I want him to. But, let me put my glasses on here. In front of these 4 eyes, he sucks. Maybe that'll motivate him to get better. Doggone it. Now back to where this all started with Justin Fields. If the Bears hold the number 1 pick. Okay? But these are the Chicago Bears we're talking about. This is a team that thought they fleeced the 49ers, and the 49ers wound up getting two great defensive ends, including Solomon Thomas, who lost his career due to an injury. Okay? And now I will stay on the I will stay on the Bears. What do you think they're going to do with that number 1 pick? I think they're going to screw it up. I really think the Chicago Bears, per tradition, just like the Cowboys per tradition, are going to screw it up. You sold the farm for DJ Moore. Practically the only weapon they had on that offense. They don't have a running game to lean on, save Justin Fields. They don't have a bell cow running back and are too chicken to get one. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. The Bears don't care about winning. The Cardinals don't care about winning. The Cowboys don't care about winning. I mean, come on. You actually want to trust that? They should draft Jaden Daniels. Man, Jaden Daniels will not survive behind that line. Not at all. They wouldn't survive behind that line. Besides the Carolina Panthers and the Dallas Cowboys, it's the most pathetic offensive line in the league. That's right, I said it. Bears should trade down. I agree. If you're going to keep Justin Fields, put a line in front of him, will you please? That way he's not running for his life and he's not spending 2-3 weeks on the injury list. Matter of fact, going back to Justin Fields, if y'all want to use stats to make your argument, how about this? In the 3 years that Justin Fields has been the starting quarterback for the Bears, or that he's been a part of the Bears organization, you know how many 300-yard games Justin Fields has? 1. Oh, you didn't hear me. I'll say it again. Do you know in the 3 years that Justin Fields has been a part of the Bears organization, how many 300-yard games he has to show for his efforts? 1. 1 in 3 years. And that came against the Denver Broncos, where they raced down to a 28-7 lead, but that game eventually ended up in an back to Caleb Williams. The inconsistencies in his game and in his talents frighten me. I want him to be awesome, but let me get my glasses again. I don't like what I see so far from him. And he's supposed to be the number 1 overall pick, or is slated to be the number 1 overall pick. Give me a bleeping break. You need another year, Caleb Williams. That's right, I said it. Ryan McCarthy. If the Bears retain Fields and bring in Kingsbury, Fields is going to spend more time on Call of Duty than the playbook. He's going to spend more time on the IR. Okay? He's going to spend more time on the IR. Seriously, Larry, at least Daniels can run for his life. Justin Fields was doing that. Jaden Daniels should not even sniff the city of Chicago, because they'll ruin him just like they'll ruin Caleb Williams, just like they ruined Justin Fields, and to a point, just like they ruined Jim McMahon and Eric Kramer. and Mitch Trubisky and others. These are the Chicago Bears we're talking about. Want to look at a great article? Check out my boy Ryan McCarthy, a.k.a. Ryan McCarthy. Retaining McCarthy shows he's unserious about winning. Ain't that the truth? And retaining some of the staff that they have shows the Bears aren't serious about winning either. Take a break. When y'all get back, time for the divisional round preview, and we'll start in the AFC. Back with more after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Approaching hour 2 of Snowman in the Morning is brought to you by BetUS.com. In their 30th year of action, they have live in-game betting, incredible odds, daily odds boosters, props, and parlays. Sign up and use the code Snowman. You get a 125% deposit match. Log on to BETUS.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. BetUS.com, where the game begins. And this is where the second half of this show begins, as we'll look at the AFC divisional round matchups. Second half begins after this.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you talk, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So tell me, here, you can do it if you try.
He was only 58 years old when he passed away. That outcome could have been different.
Colorado happens to be one of the worst states for radon levels.
It's in our ground, and it seeps up.
The more you breathe radon, the more chance you have of DNA being hit and the cell mutated. The EPA estimates 22,000 lung cancer deaths a year caused by radon.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Phew! Now that I got all that off my face, or off my head, advertise with us. Drop an email to snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com or call 317-762-8567. That's 317-762, 8567. Start with the let's start with the Sunday games. And I want to go here first. Buccaneers and Lions, 3 p.m. on Sunday. I know I said I'd go AFC, NFC, but we're going Sunday games, then Saturday games, and then I'll bring Chris Bass on. You know, a message to the Detroit Lions. Baker Mayfield has had his fun. Now, please blow the Buccaneers out of the water. Please. I mean, I'm glad the Buccaneers put it in to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I kind of thought they would do because the Eagles were in such disarray. But a team like Tampa Bay that's feeding off of a lot of energy from that win, you don't want them to stick around. What you want to do if you're the Detroit Lions is run the daylights out of them. You want to run the daylights out of them, which means Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery need to touch the ball a lot. A lot. Now, I got nothing against Jared Goff. Oh, by the way, Cam Newton, Jared Goff is a game changer. I got nothing against Jared Goff, but with the energy that Detroit's going to show for their first divisional round matchup at home since 1993, man, please. You need to give those two running backs the ball. And I'm sorry, 1991 was their divisional round matchup. You need to give them the ball, period. Mr. Blue Collar, good afternoon to you. You need to give them the ball. End of story. You need to let your two running backs run the daylights out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and not allow them any hope. Now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're playing with house money because no one expected you to get this far. Hell, no one expected you to win the division. No one expected you to win the division, and yet you won the division on the last day of the year. Baker Mayfield has been your steadying force and is one of only 4 quarterbacks, I believe, to play all 17 games. One of only 4 to play all 17 games. Now the Detroit Lions hosting a playoff game, a second playoff game in this run, I beg your pardon. Need to just give Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery the ball 20 times apiece. Shoot 30 if you can. Are there enough plays to run the ball 60 times in a game? I've seen it done. But my pick is for the Detroit Lions to move on and to pack their bags for a trip to the NFC Championship. And I'll tell you their opponent later on. Now, to the feature game. Whoops, wrong button. To the feature game of the weekend, and it's this one. Rich Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. Chiefs and Bills, 6:30 on Sunday. Chiefs, Bills, 6:30 Sunday night from Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. I know it's called Highmark Stadium right now. I don't care. It's Rich Stadium as far as I'm concerned. I'm old. I can't help it. This is where I go against the grain and say the Buffalo Bills will win. And I had the Cool and Coach Hour yesterday. The turnover battle is going to be key. Inside the trenches is going to be key. But the number of touches that James Cook gets is going to be key as well. If you're Josh Allen and you have a thoroughbred running back in James Cook, give him the ball. Where have I said that before? Give him the ball. That's all you have to do. Give him just let him run. Let that thoroughbred run. Let him run, man. You see what he did to the Cowboys? I'm sorry, low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit. And I know Josh Allen's going to carry the ball at least 15 times. I said yesterday during the Cool and Coach Hour that you need to give James Cook the ball 30 times. 20 will do the trick. 20 will do the trick, and let that Buffalo offensive line at home in the weather feed off of that. Let him feast. Let them feast, man. Just let him feast. The running game is going to determine both of these matchups on Sunday. Let me say it again. The running game, or whoever has the better running game, is going to determine who's going to win on Sunday night. I'm looking forward to this game. I might just do this one. Although I got one earlier. I'll tell you about all that when I do my maintenance. But man, this playoff round is going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be fun. Because for the simplest reasons, it don't involve the Cowboys. Oh, did I say that? For the simplest reasons, it don't involve the Steelers. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that aloud. Oh, who the hell am I kidding? Yes, I did. Mr. Blue Collar, how about those Wolverines? And thank you for the Cash App. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. Back to this one. Detroit, you have one job. One, run the football. Run the football. Give both your running backs 25 carries. Lean on that Buccaneers defensive line. Because if you give them any kind of, and you got an all-pro receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, use him. But you're gonna have to, you gotta lean on that line. This is one of those kind of games where it needs to be old school. This is one of those kind of games where it needs to be old school. This is one of those kind of games where it needs the reason why you're here. And part of the reason is their running game. I expect this game, Buccaneers and Lions, to result in a 2-score difference in favor of the Lions. And as crazy as I am to think this will be a 2-score difference in favor of the Bills. But I hearken back to what happened last year at Rich Stadium when they had the Cincinnati Bengals in their house in the divisional round. And Cincinnati socked them in the mouth. Joe Burrow looked at the weather and said, so what? And almost threw for 300 yards. What did he have in that game? 270? And the Bengals had 400 plus yards of offense. 170 of those came on the ground. 170 of those yards came on the ground. You understand? But I think this time will be different because I think the Bills will take the sting of that loss last year in the divisional round, which was the most hyped game of the weekend, and roll over the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs because the Chiefs have no receivers. Outside of Travis Kelce, outside of Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, you need to go. Kadarius Toney needs to go. And it's so weird for me to watch this particular Chiefs, to watch the Kansas City Chiefs and them not have any pass receivers. Let me put a word in front of that. Dependable pass receivers. Dependable pass receivers. The receiving core for the Kansas City Chiefs, outside of Travis Kelce and outside of Rashee Rice, has been absolutely pathetic. So don't be surprised if Isaiah Pacheco touches the ball 35 times. Do not be surprised if Isaiah Pacheco touches the ball 35 times. And 30 of those are runs. Whoever runs the game, whoever runs the most effective, will win both games. Now, take a break, and when y'all get back, we'll jump back to the Saturday games. And boy, I'm going to sell a lot of Wolf tickets in the words honoring my late father. But I really believe neither one of the Saturday games will be close. I will tell you why when y'all get back.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. exclusively on the Chris Base YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Portions of this program are brought to you in part by Invader Coffee. Log on to invadercoffee.com, place your order, use the code Snowman, and you get 15% off of said order. Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. Speaking of fearless, the Texans are absolutely fearless right now. They're going into the number one seed. They're going into M&T Bank Stadium to face the number one seed Baltimore Ravens, a Super Bowl participant favorite, for a 4:30 clash. You want to talk about a team playing with house money? It's the Houston Texans. They're not even supposed to be close to being here. Forget what I said about the Lions. The Texans are playing with a lot of house money right now. And when I say they're playing with a lot of house money, I mean just that. They're playing with a lot of house money right now because no one expected them to be a playoff contender. No one expected them to win the AFC South Division. And no one expected them to have the confidence that they had going into M&T Bank Stadium. But after what they did to Cleveland last Saturday, man, please, don't doubt this team. Don't doubt this team. You know, I said before the break that neither of these games would be close. I lied. This one will be. This one will be. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be a bit surprised considering the divisional round game they played in 2011, which played to 7 points. That if the Texans went in there and shocked the world. Hey, Tennessee did it 4 years ago. Tennessee absolutely did it 4 years ago. The key to this game is as follows. The keys to this game are as follows. 1, turnovers. Cool McCain said it best yesterday. Whoever wins the turnover battle will win the game. Secondly, you win the game in the trenches. I know it's old and it's old school, but you win the game in the trenches, period. You win the game in the trenches. You have to. This is the time where you work all season to get this. You work all season to get that number one seed. And this is the time you have to take advantage, if you're Baltimore, of having that number one seed. Remember the last time they were the number one seed? What happened? Tennessee socked them in the mouth. The Texans have the potential to sock them in the mouth and surprise them. As I said before the break, I didn't think either of these divisional matchups would be close. I lied. This one will be. And this could go either way. C.J. Stroud is C.J. Stroud. All right, the rookie of the year. C.J. Stroud is C.J. Stroud. I mean, what can you do? Man, this is going to be a fun one. I think that the potential for an upset is right here in this game. It's right here. The Baltimore Ravens should be on upset alert. Let me say it again. Potential MVP candidate, potential MVP Lamar Jackson, forget a candidate, and the Baltimore Ravens should be on upset alert. They might get one of their big weapons back in Mark Andrews. Might. As I mentioned earlier in the show, that is still up in the air, according to John Harbaugh, who was in his 17th year. Wow, I didn't realize it was in the 17th year. Didn't realize it was in his 17th year. That's the 4:30 game on Saturday. Then you got this: the Packers and the 49ers, 8:05 Saturday night from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Where do I begin with this one? And I know Ryan's going to say if Ryan says what I think if Ryan says what I think he's going to say, if he says what I think he's going to say with a .exe next to it, I know that the Packers went into AT&T Stadium and blew out the Cowboys. And thank you, Jordan Love, for doing so. I also know that the Packers have the potential to pull a colossal upset, just as the Texans do. Jordan Love has gotten better over the course of the year. But you are facing a healthy, hungry, and ready 49ers squad. The only major injury that the 49ers have right now is Cleveland Farrell along the defensive line, and he is out. That's where Javon Kinlaw comes in. Eric Armstead is back. Jawan Jennings is back. Dre Greenlaw was a question mark, according to Kyle Shanahan. But, man, I don't think this will be close. This is the 10th all-time matchup between these two teams. This is the 10th all-time playoff matchup, let me say that correctly, between these two teams. The 10th all-time playoff matchup between these two teams. You know what's funny? Aaron Rodgers didn't beat us. Not one time. He lost two at Candlestick Park. He lost two in Lambeau Field. And the one I think that stings the most for Packer fans is the last one. At Lambeau Field, number 1 seed, you march right down the field and you sock the 49ers in the mouth, led 7-0, had a chance to go up 10-0 at the end of the first half, but the field goal got blocked. That was one of 2 kicks that was blocked. One of 2. The other produced the Niners' lone touchdown in that game. It was Jordan Davis who blocked the punt. Talanoa Hufanga scooped it up, ran into the end zone, tied the game at 10, and Robbie Good as Gold walked us off 13-10. Boy, the Packers are going to face a healthy, angry, and focused 49er team. Let me piggyback off of something that the playmaker said earlier in the week. You have no excuses now, San Francisco. Eagles out. Cowboys out. Rams gone. And you have the number 1 seed, which means you have home field advantage, which means you only have to play 2 games. You only have to play 2 games. This is reading like 2019 all over again. there were a lot of questions in 2019 coming into the Niners game against Minnesota. And then in the second half, the 49ers pulled away. I expect the Packers to stay with the 49ers for the first quarter plus. But then they're going to get their act together and they're going to run away and hide. I expect the 49ers to receive a punch or two or three or four from the Packers early. Because the Packers are playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They have absolutely nothing to lose. But then they're going to figure it out. The Niners will, if they haven't figured it out already. And let me tell the words of Kyle Shanahan tell me they're going to be ready. When he said, and I quote, "We started preparing for Green Bay midway through the second quarter." Ouch. How's that for a shot at Cowboy fans? When a team with the number 1 seed can guess who their opponent is going to be even before the game is over, game, set, match. So I expect San Francisco to totally be ready. I expect them to totally be ready. And I think Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey are going to have a field day against this Packer defense. The offensive line has gotten it together. 3 of the last 5 games, Brock Purdy was not touched. 3 of the last 5 games, Brock Purdy was not sacked. Could be off on that, but if someone would research that for me, I'd appreciate it. But I believe 3 of the last 5 games of the season, Brock Purdy was not touched. Brock Purdy wasn't touched. The line plays like that, it's going to be a long night in Santa Clara for the Packers. Oh, by the way, Green Bay, Trey Larkins, my dear friend, do you remember what happened the last time in the playoffs that Green Bay came to Santa Clara? They got obliterated. That was 4 years ago. That is the Saturday feature. Do me a favor, folks. Support the stream if you can via Cash App. The tag you need is $ Tallman Dr. K50. That's Tallman Dr. K50. Trying to get us through a crisis. I'm trying to help out around the house and make things and do things as best as I can, given the conditions that I am dealing with right now. I want to help my wife and I want to help my family so bad. My buddy Narek Patterson sent us a Cash App. Mr. Blue Collar sent us a Cash App. If anybody can find it in their heart to help, not just me, because it's never been about just me. It's about my family. And anyone who has listened to me, anyone who has watched this show, you know how much my family means to me. Now, I owe Chris Bass an apology. A big one. Because he was here an hour early. And I forgot to alert him that he was during the second hour. My fault, Bass. I am so sorry. But he will be here, and he will be next.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to I can be the black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, No, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister? How do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
So who do you think will win this weekend? Let me know your thoughts down. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I have an apology to deliver, and it's my own fault. My wife always said, "You're the man. Therefore, it's always your fault." This one is. Let's have some fun.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bass.
The Boom Shakalaka is alive and well and kicking. And here is the leader, Chris Bass, the legend himself, joins me. Good morning, sir. Or good afternoon, I should say, from here. How are you, my friend?
Not too shabby for an old guy walking the earth, still doing pretty good. Good morning to you, Rain Man. Good morning to our brothers, of course, Cole Johnson, the mad scientist. Good morning, of course, to the one who's on call for gambling purposes. Roll the dice, wise all, and for all the boys and girls in the comment section there, good morning, good afternoon, boom shakalaka to you all.
How's your new year so far?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I'll take what I can get. I don't make resolutions anymore. That sucks. You shouldn't even try to, because you know you're going to fail right on day one. So It doesn't make any sense to say, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to save money. No, you're going to save. You're going to spend more money to eat more food, so you won't lose weight. So just embrace the fatness that you have, and then just go along from there.
You're right. I think I stopped after I turned 30 making resolutions, because I kept saying the same thing, because I was a lot heavier than this. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to cut this out. The one thing I wanted to cut out was pizza. No, not a chance. Not a chance, especially given the fact I lived in Chicago most of my life. Man, I ain't cutting out pizza. Forget it.
No, pizza is like there when you're born. You know, you're born, you come out the womb, and they have a slice of pizza for you in the formula. So you're raised on that, so you can't change it.
No, you can't. And the first time I ever had Giordano's pizza, it's like you said, it's in the womb. Okay, it's embedded in, because my actually it was a business meeting that drew me to Giordano's, because I was helping a friend of mine, arrange his broadcast schedule, and he was giving me a team that he had covered while he was moving on. I didn't want to leave. I got in that place and sat down, and My wife often says when we go into place together, she says, "Man, this smells like 2,000 calories." I said, "Baby, I got to take you to Giordano's. That's 20,000 calories, and that's before you put a piece of food in your mouth, man."
It's serious. It's serious. Working in radio, I've worked with a lot of people who worked in different markets, and they've always said, "Man, Chicago's like the best food town they've ever worked in. They ever got a chance to be a part of it. Of course, be a part of the culture, whether they're here in Chicago or they were in the suburbs and they worked in New York and L.A. and Dallas and all parts in between." But they always said, "Man, this right here, this city right here, is the best of all time." So, yeah, you stay fat. That's one of those things. It's like it's a market and a city which I've grown up to love. I was born and raised here, but the fatness is a part of it.
It is. When I first started at Chicago State in '95, all the folks that would come in, all the visiting teams, they would some would get a hold of me and they said, "Look, we need a place to eat. Can you recommend anything?" And the first thing I tell them is Giordano's. I said, "If you love pizza, take him to Giordano's." Even to this day, I still get people that I've kept in contact with over the years, and I said, "Man, I'm so glad you recommended Giordano's to me." I said, "Did it satisfy your team meal need?" They said, "Yes." So much to the point where we were taking some back home.
Let me tell you something. When I was in high school, here we have a neighborhood called Hyde Park. And so in Hyde Park, I went to high school. Shout out to my fellow classmates at Kenwood Academy, which I was a student at the time. And so either you could eat on campus or not. So the first Giordano's I ever ate was in Hyde Park, but it's not too far from my school. So my cousin Alan and I, my cousin Alan was the grade below me. We said we're going to eat at Giordano's every day of the week. So get the cafeteria food. So now, mind you, we're talking about like 15, 14-year-olds. We went to Giordano's. Once again, before that I went, but I was a pulled cheese virgin at the time. Now I was like 12, 13. I went with my family. And they take the pizza. Of course, they have it on the stand above the table, and they do the cheese pull. The first time I ever saw it.
Yes.
And it broke my cheese pull cherry. And they pulled this cheese, man, and I was like, just
that was it.
I mean, you just salivating and everything else. So after that first cheese pull, there's nothing like it. So other restaurants do, but it's nothing like you don't remember. Oh, remember your first cheese pull. So I went through all that, and so my cousin Alan and I, we went to Giordano's for like 2 days, like say Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday we're back in the cafeteria because we were broke. But for those 2 glorious days,
yeah,
him and I would go in together in the pot. Oh yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
It was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely worth it. I've taken so many friends and clients to Giordano's. It's like a fallback for me, especially when I'm in Chicago. And Jody asked me one day, where's the first place you're going to take me when we finally make it up to Chicago and we don't have to like immediately go to Soldier Field or the United Center when you're on assignment? I said, I already have that answer. And she looked at me with this wicked smile. She said, lay it on me. I said, I want you to look up Giordano's Pizza. Well, she came back to me 20 minutes later and she said, whenever we get up there, the first Giordano's you find, we're stopping in. And we got to roll to the hotel and waddle our way back to the hotel, then so be it. I said, well, drive in this case, because there's no way we're waddling back to a hotel full of pizza. Not a chance.
You're taking a gamble on that alone.
Man.
You're taking a gamble on that alone, doctor. That's not it's gonna be one. You have to test your ability, because we take walking for granted. But then when we get the itis and we get sleepy and we eat to our heart's content and we can't walk, and it's like, oh my God, with somebody put me in a wheelchair, doc, and you gotta wheel my fat ass back to the bed and then just go from there. But I'm telling you, it's an experience. So let me say before I move forward, because I don't want to forget this. Red told me to tell you hi.
Aw. I remember Red.
Yes.
Very very, very dear friend out in Ohio. I called her friend Lisa. I call her Red because of her red hair. She would have this habit of like finding ways to wake me up. And she'll leave me these funny voicemails the same way Jody does now. And one morning, I was in a rotten mood. For some reason, I was in a rotten mood. I opened my phone and there's voicemail. And all I could think of was at the end of it, her saying, in other words, wake up. Rotten mood gone. I'm on the floor dying laughing. And she hits me with that southern twang the same way Jody does. And Jody's comes out when she's like really tired. Like last night she came in really late. She got in really late from work. And she looked at me and she says, I want a massage. I want you to massage my feet. And I'm going to bed. And you ain't say nothing else. I threw this headset down, followed her right in the bedroom.
You have to admire a woman who knows what she wants. Absolutely. That's great.
And I mean, there are days, like I said, most of the time she gets in late, especially Mondays and Fridays. Those are her late days because of all the administrative duties she has at her job. But when she comes in and looks at me and says, I don't want to cook, I'm like, baby, what am I making? What am I making? Just tell me. What am I what am I making? What am I pulling out of the freezer or the fridge? We made this big pot of chili last weekend.
Nice.
But I mean big old pot of chili.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those deep pots of chili that holds you for a month. All right.
Oh, yeah, especially these frigid temperatures. You need something like that, doctor.
Man, please. I mean, she is. You want to talk about a soup Nazi? She's the friendly soup Nazi because we get all these ingredients and we make these different soups. And now I'm learning to make them so I can make them for her when she comes in and she's really tired. I'm like, baby, I got you. But we were talking Jody and I were talking this morning when I was at the doctor. And they were rewrapping my legs and they're getting me ready for compression footwear and everything so I can keep the fluid keep from swelling. She told the doctor this morning, and I didn't deny it. She says, look, he makes more breakfast than anything else. which is the truth, because the first time I made scrambled eggs for her, she comes in the kitchen, she goes, can you do that again? I said, what? She says, there is something you put in these scrambled eggs that makes them fluffy. I said, baby, I just made them the same way my parents would make them. And once upon a time, I hated eggs. Then I got to college. I got to college in Kirksville, Missouri, and all that changed. Every food that I hated growing up was free at the cafeteria. I couldn't stop eating it.
Yeah, because you need substance. You got to survive. And not everybody can cook. God bless their not cooking hearts. Not everybody can cook. Not everybody can throw down.
Right.
And I think that when people say, oh, man, you can burn, I think actually somebody burned something back in the day and burned food. And I mean, it's no offense. I mean, some people I think it's a Creole. It's supposed to be blackened. No, somebody burnt that. And it probably fell on the floor and they burnt it and said, let's call it something else before the boss gets us. So let's call it blackened. Yeah, blackened. There you go. It helped me out with the difference between blackened and burnt. I think it's in the same family.
I know of no difference.
Here's my cousin Burnt.
Here's my cousin Blackened.
Exactly right. I mean, I think they're the same person, and they're probably just using two different. I don't know. Maybe Burnt is the nickname and the Blackened is the government name. I don't know. I don't know. It looks very similar to me.
It's two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
It's two sides of the same coin. I'm going to surprise her and, steal one of her recipes out of her many, many recipe books, which I've been perusing through, and just make something for her, surprise her with it. I know we're going to make something this weekend for all the football we're going to be watching.
Oh yeah.
But one Sunday, I was covering the 49ers game. They were playing the Cardinals. And before the game started, she says, "Do you want some pasta for dinner?" And I said, "Sure." I didn't know what she was going to do, but Jody gets in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, all the aroma from the kitchen found me, and I have this screen up. It found me, and I'm going, okay, I'm distracted now. I'm looking at the game here. My stats are here, and all I can think of is, can this game hurry up and be over? My wife's cooking.
Oh yeah.
So she brought in a bowl of pasta for me, and it was toward the end. It was toward the end of the game, and she leans into the camera and she goes, "Finish calling the game. It's not like we don't know who's going to win, but just finish calling the game." And everybody in the chat heard her voice. Victor was the first one to say, "I hear Dr. K in the background." I'm like, "Yep, that's Dr. K, all right." And she's bringing me food.
It really is a beautiful thing. Once again, you should never take that for granted. It's a blessing. It's beautiful.
Never.
It's nice, and
It's
keep it
very
moving. Let me
nice.
say this because again, I want to get this out of my skull. If there was a way to put my neighbors in a headlock, I would do it. I would do it, and I know it doesn't sound politically correct and things of that nature, but this is where I draw the line at.
Oh no!
So my neighbor, I told you next door.
We got a neighbor teacher, folks.
First of all, I mentioned before, I have a neighbor who has sticky fingers, who I literally caught taking my package into possibly their apartment, and I stopped her. "Oh, I was going to put it in front of your door." So this is what I'm dealing with. And then they have a dog who I nicknamed Scooby Don't, and it's a hypo mutt, and he's damn near the size of some werewolf or something like that. It was probably made in the lab, and I don't really care for it at all. So there's a floor mat that we have between my apartment, neighbor's apartment, and a neighbor across from us apartments. And we all have floor mats. And so there's a main floor mat for the apartment and our own individual mats that we have in front of our apartment doors. And the Scooby Don't always comes in 90 going north and destroys all the mats, and the mats are out of place. It looks disheveled. It looks quite disgusting. And so this time, the main mat is folded upside down. So you know how you see a mat, you see the carpeting and things like that. Now we got the rubber part.
Yeah.
We got the rubber part now. And this doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever.
None.
It's been out there. Nobody touches it.
Nope.
If you know your Scooby Don't is trying to win a race every time it tries to get into the building or leaves, then you should be responsible for making the mat and putting the mat where it once was. You as the owner, you're being responsible. It's just like 2 Degree. You got pooper scoops out here nowadays, people picking up their pets' crap, which they should. And the same thing should apply with this mat thing, but they don't. They just leave the mat. So I gotta go out there one day, probably sometime today, maybe tomorrow, and I gotta do it. I don't have a Scooby Don't at all. I don't have a dog. You know what I'm saying? And even if I had the dog, I would straighten the mats out because it's my responsibility for this Scooby Don't. So the thing about it is, it doesn't make any sense not to be responsible.
None.
And then once again, I told you about the mother and the daughters. I don't know what the deal is, but I told you before about eye contact. And so I was looking out for Uber Eats a couple of days ago, and one of the daughters come in. Now, mind you, as you know, around the region area of the United States, it's been very cold. It's cold here in Chicago. So I'm waiting for my food. The daughter comes in. I open the door. She looks at me like I stabbed her in the ass. I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong here. Not a thank you for holding the door open for me, nothing like that. None of it. Nothing. So wherever this pent up, ridiculous thing that they have, they need to stop it. And once again, there's no point I'm addressing it because all you're gonna get, for example, if I was to say, "What's up with the mask?" Well, how you know my dog did it? See, that type of thing. I ain't got time for arguments like that. You know good and goddamn well that your Scooby Doo did this.
Right.
And you won't be defensive on it. You know, so I don't have time for that. I really don't. So between that and again I don't know what's up with their daughters and things like that, it's tiring. And some people say, well, but leave it alone. It's hard to leave it alone when you run into these people. If I didn't run into them, I wouldn't even mention it all.
Exactly.
But it's tiring.
Exactly. It is.
So
it is.
I mean, and I think about, I know it's wrong. I know you ain't supposed to put nobody in a headlock and, choke them out, something like that. Man, if I could, I'd do a Draymond Green. And I never said that before in my life until now. I would, and I don't like Draymond Green, but I would definitely man, if I could get away with that, oh yeah.
Man, there were some neighbors. There were some neighbors in Gary, Indiana, where I used to live. My day was simple. If I had to go do a game, I go do a game. If I had to go to the store, go to the store. Go out, get what I need, come back, and that's that. There was a neighbor that, in the form of a Scooby Don't, like you just spoke about a moment ago, would always find his way to me. And there was one night I'm trying to bring groceries into my apartment, and this Scooby Don't is sitting up looking at me, wagging his tail like I'm going to give him something. I said, this is mine. And of course, here comes the neighbor with all kinds of attitude, saying, you could be nice to my dog. Tell your dog to stay away from my apartment. How's that for being nice? So, that was like that was a daily fight. And it's ridiculous. It's a daily fight. And I'm sitting there going, why is this dog bugging me? Now I have a dog here, Lucy. Lucy loves antagonizing everybody until she runs into someone that's just as antagonistic as she is. Like my kittens. Like my kittens. Especially Winnie. Winnie loves you hear this loud meow even when we wake up in the morning and Winnie stays in during the night. All we have to do to get we don't even need an alarm clock, just have to listen for Winnie. Winnie lets loose this loud meow, and Lucy wakes me up going, Daddy, come on, you gotta take me out. I'm like, what? This morning already?
Do you believe at times your animals can say actual like human words?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me put this out for the cheap seat. So years ago, my sister had a dog. She named her Shadow because it was all black. Very, very nice dog. And so one day I get home and literally was snowing outside. As I got inside, I'm dusting the snow off my coat and everything. So I see Shadow. We met the door. Right. And so I said, Shadow, how you doing? And then Shadow lays back on her back and says, Christ. And starts stretching out her legs. Now, Shadow was old now. I didn't know she was going to call Jesus to call her home. I was like, and I know what I heard.
Oh.
And so I said, wait a minute, what did you say? And I pointed, well, what did you say, Shadow? And she went back again on her back, Christ, and stretched out her paws and everything else. So mind you, there's no way I could tell my family. They're not going to believe me. We didn't have the technology back then with our phones.
Yes.
We didn't have that back then.
Right.
So I just had to sit there and take it. Because there was nobody home but me, Shadow, and Christ. We were the only three beings there at the time.
I know for a fact
that dog said Christ twice. I know what I heard.
Mm-hmm. I can already tell you what my cats say. We have three here in we have three here in the house. Winnie, Pumpkin, and Binks. When we get up and get moving, there's this plate that's like right down the way from our bedroom. And Winnie, as I said, is the loudest out of all of them. Food. Meow, feed me. Oh, how does Jody put it? Meow, food now. Or Lucy, my dog, wake up, take me out, and she'll I swear I hear Lucy saying take me out, especially when she's all up in my face or my wife's face, and the tongue goes absolutely nuts.
Right.
Binks hardly speaks until he's hungry.
That's the best time to speak.
Yep. Because as soon as he hears either me or my daughter or my wife making food, here he comes.
Yeah, they'll be speaking. They'll speak in tongues, man. I'm telling you. I had no idea. I know because usually I'll go in reverse order. I talk about sports to get into all the other stuff. But let me say this about sports stuff real quick. You mentioned, I only got a chance to see some of it about the whole thing with Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys. As long as it's about Jerry, as far as you go, because you're talking about, once again, personality driven environment. It's Jerry's world. We're just living in it, things like that. I believe, and once again, you're the expert, that he is the only owner that has a radio show there locally there in Dallas. I don't call the other NFL owners doing that. Most NFL owners in general stay behind the scenes and let everybody delegate through whatever their positions are within the corporation. He makes it about him from day one. And so I think that, again, you can't have a Bill Belichick there because you're going to have those strong clashing personalities. And not saying that Mike McCarthy is. And to tell you the truth, I don't think Mike McCarthy is the fit.
No.
He's the fit for right now. If you look at, I guess, compare what's out there. But no, I would, if it was me, I would have guessed somebody else besides Mike McCarthy. But that's just me. But I think that as long as you're still, quote unquote, America's team, it doesn't matter.
No,
it really doesn't, because it's all about whoever's in power gives out the privileges. And Jerry Jones is no different from any other owner. So it really doesn't matter if he wins or not. He's still America's team. He is the Dallas Cowboys. And probably what he wanted from day one. I mean, he does own the team, so there's not much more he can do about that.
Right.
But from the standpoint of, do you want a winning formula to actually get you a chip? Maybe you're satisfied with the chips that you have. But you don't want to dish out a chip anymore, because see, now everything, the price market's up, and you have to pay these players 10 times more you paid them before, say during the Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith and those guys' days. So you have to play the market value. So it doesn't surprise me that Mark McCarthy's coming back. I think it's bad. And also, on a side note, I'm looking forward to the Chiefs-Bills game in Buffalo. I'm going with the Chiefs, but I would not be surprised if they lost, because, again, this is the first time, as we know, the Chiefs going out of their comfort zone of having home field advantage to go to Buffalo. That's the whole psychological thing, is to look all those years you had all that time to have the home field advantage. Now you got to go away on the road. And as we know, a lot of championships, you got to win on the road, because you got to establish that type of momentum between home and away. So I'm rolling with KC, but it wouldn't surprise me if they dropped the ball literally and lost.
And that's the problem with the Chiefs. No dependable receivers. So we talked about that throughout the course of the week. No dependable receivers for Kansas City, and that's going to cost them. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, I expect to get the ball at least 25 times, but you got James Cook and Josh Allen to deal with. And someone had sent me a message earlier, you have to call it Highmark Stadium. No, when I was growing up and I first got into watching football, especially with the Buffalo Bills, it's Rich Stadium. That's the way I'll always say it. It's Rich Stadium. Oh, man. I hope y'all laughed as much as I did with Chris Bass, as he's always here every Friday absolutely fabulous time, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you, and a damn thing you can do about it. And I look forward to talking to you next week.
Well, it's too late. So it's one of those things we just have to rock and roll with it. Thank you again for allowing me to be myself again. Thank you all for being who you are and where you are. Stay warm if you're in a cold climate. And if you can't love the person you want, love the person you're with.
Exactly.
That's where everyone take it to. Exactly. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Base. Love you, partner.
Love you more.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Oh, that was fabulous. A fabulous chat as always. Got to get out of here. Got some interviews to record, and then I got some critters to feed. I'm going to do that in the interim, and then I got to go perform a rescue mission. And I hope the person I'm rescuing doesn't mind, considering the fact that I married her fine self. Oh, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you all for joining me this week. The Brian Snow Show returns Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'll let you know the guest list. Go to snowmanmultimedia.com/The Brian Snow Show to find out our guest list for this week. All right, got to go. Have a great day. God, have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope you all are too. Enjoy the football. We're out of here. See you Monday.